I was pretty on.
And here we are, guys. We are live on the Metal Voice, talking about Iron Maiden's opening night in Budapest, Hungary.
I'm hungry.
The first, and he's hungry. At 12 o'clock, we got an
Ideas.
all-star global cast today. Giles Lavery, singer of Warlord, Alcatraz, Jack Starr. Giles, what else?
Dragon's Claw new album coming soon too.
And there you go. Perrin Wolfson just north of me in what little place that we like to call Laval, and Ian O'Neill. Eamon O'Neill, sorry. All the way in Ireland.
Hello. I'm all the way over here. Good to be with you guys.
All right, let's talk about the set list, the surprises, the expectations, the letdowns. I'll let Eamon, who hasn't been with us for a while, just quickly talk about 10, 15 seconds. Were you happy with the set list?
Okay. To answer that straight away, yes, I was. I think you could call it very much a greatest hits type set. If you were looking for deep cuts, you were going to be disappointed. But for a good Iron Maiden night out and some of the best songs they've ever recorded, yeah, fantastic.
Giles, 10, 15 seconds.
You can't really find fault with a set list like that. However, you are left feeling a wee bit like it wasn't quite as advertised.
All right. It's a good line. Perrin?
I'll debate that point after. I think people read too much into what was and wasn't advertised. But I'm very, very happy. I'd say the first half of the set list was fantastic. I would say the second half of this set list is, as expected and a little paint by numbers, but just full of songs they need to play. But I'd say overall, I'm very pleased.
All right, let's dig in a little deeper. Eamon, which songs did you say, you know what, I'm so happy they put it in the set list this time around?
Definitely Killers. I've seen them play Killers in '99, and they have not played it since. That is 26 years. To see Killers in the set list, unbelievable. The big surprise for me was Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. I was hoping they might do Only the Good Die Young, if they were going to do something from that album. But to have the title track with that great visual and everything, totally happy with that. And I got to say, Rime and the Ancient Mariner as well, to see that back in the set, one of the greatest songs they've ever done. Those three, for me, are the key.
All right. What songs were you excited about, Giles?
Well, it is great to see Seventh Son, if not only for the fact that I saw the... What do you call it?
The Seventh Son Tour.
No, when they redid the Seventh Son Tour in 2014. What was that called?
Made in England.
They did, yeah, Made in England.
Made in England. Again. I had a dreadfully obscured view at a festival in Holland, and while it was great to be there, I did wish I had a better seat, so at least I'll get to see that song, hopefully from a better position. Killers, yes, very excited. Murders in the Rue Morgue, yes, very excited. Like I said, you can't really go wrong with a set like this. There's one thing this doesn't deliver. Every other history tour brought song or songs back that hadn't been played since the parent album that it was being, promoted as. This is the first history tour that doesn't do that. So it feels like it's more of like a best of the previous history tours. It doesn't really bring anything new that hasn't been played since the millennium, with the exception of Killers, But now the millennium's 24 years old, so we're now feeling nostalgic for the first two history tours, are we? It's debatable. It's endlessly debatable.
I was very excited about Murders in the Rue Morgue. Killers, Phantom of the Opera. I can't remember the last time they played that. And the rest, I guess, so-so. And Rime and the Ancient Mariner.
Phantom, I saw them do it somewhere around that. Tour.
It was the Made in England tour they last did it, 2014.
Yeah, it's been
okay, and I saw it before then somewhere too. They did a tour.
I think it's on it's on a Real Dead one.
Back in time.
It's on a Real Dead one. They had to have done it in Europe just prior to Bruce leaving the band.
Yeah, but again, Murders in the Rue Morgue.
Phantom.
Killers, Phantom, and Rime and the Ancient Mariner, which I was hoping that they'd play, that they did play. All
This
right,
is
Perrin.
cola, by the way. Diet Coke.
So I'll say I called the clairvoyant yesterday. I had a feeling.
Okay,
that was
but
gonna
you
be
didn't
back.
call the Rime of the Ancient Mariner, though. You didn't call
Well,
that.
I thought they might not play Rime, because if you play Rime, that takes up the space of 2 songs, right?
Okay,
So
but you
there's a
didn't
lot of
call it. Just
speculation.
it equals out. It equals.
No, but I
I'm just
called the
picking on you.
clairvoyant.
I'm just
I
picking
called
on you.
Phantom. So look, I'm excited about the clairvoyant. I too, for me, Phantom of the Opera is like top shelf Iron Maiden. So I'm glad that's back in the set. I was lucky that when they did the Early Days tour in 2005, it was mostly on Ozfest in North America, but they did an off-night show in Quebec City that I drove up for. So I haven't seen Murders in the Rue Morgue since they did the Early Days tour, and that was great to see back in the set. I think it's a great opener. And Killers, I've seen almost every Iron Maiden tour since 1984, and in '99 I was living in the Bay Area in California, and they canceled the San Jose show because Dave broke his finger. Although the West Coast U.S. shows were not selling very well, so maybe that's how he broke his finger. I don't know. But the Ed Hunter tour never made its way to where I was living. So I don't think I've ever seen Iron Maiden play Killers live, because I got on board.
They canceled stuff on the Ed Hunter tour.
Yeah, the entire all the California dates, San Jose, I think even LA, the last 3 or 4 shows of Ed Hunter were canceled because of Dave breaking a finger, allegedly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if I've ever seen Killers played live, because guys, you police me on this one. So if they haven't played Killers since '99, and I missed that tour in '99 because my show was canceled, I'm pretty sure from Powerslave up to that point they didn't play it. So I don't
Well,
think
I saw them play it, on the Number the Beast tour.
Right, but I own my
Beast
first
on the
show
Road.
was Powerslave.
They played it in '88.
Yeah, they played it on the Seventh Son tour.
But then
Yeah.
they played in North America, so that's where you could have seen back then. They would do slight variations of 2 or 3 songs between
Guy,
North America.
did I miss
and,
it? Did they play Wrathchild? They didn't.
Yeah,
Eamon?
second song. Yeah,
It was the second song, so I screwed up on my list there. So I should have put Wrathchild. So they did play it, right?
Yeah, they went Murders in the Rue Morgue into Wrathchild into Killers.
Okay, apologies. It's not on my
Which is
list. So I missed
frankly,
it.
that's mind blowing. That's just like, I want to discuss. Giles said maybe the tour didn't come as advertised, but see, I've seen
But let's
people-
get into that. Let's get into letdowns here. Let's get into more. Let's dissect this, Eamon. Letdown. What was the complete letdown of this set? If you have to pinpoint it.
Well, I mean, we're all going to pick songs that do you know what I mean? Somebody's going to say they wanted Notting Donkey Blues, I would have loved to have seen Infinite Dreams. I know because I've spoken to Steve Harris about this, not to name drop, but I asked him about this. Bruce doesn't like doing it. It's really hard to sing. Giles could probably, yay or nay if that's true. Yeah. But,
it's up there. I could do it, but I'm not him and he's not me. I mean, that's nothing to say. That's not saying I'm comparing myself to him, but every voice is different, is what I'm trying to say. I can't do a Paul Rogers song to save my life because he's got that lower register. I have a natural high register. I mean, Infinite Dreams is a tough sing, but doing it every freaking night for a year, yeah. I mean, maybe I'd be going, yeah, right, yeah, I get it. You know what I mean?
I mean, that to me would have been an obvious kind of breakwater, bring the mood down. And just looking at the set now, this isn't a negative. It's just like bang, 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 bang. This is a high energy set. I would say it's not until that middle section of Rime of the Ancient Mariner, which is the 9th song in, that you've got a little bit of a lower energy. It's all, up there. And maybe that was the point. It's meant to be, high energy. But yeah, as I say, Infinite Dreams was one I thought they might do. And To Tame a Land, which we've mentioned, was another one that I thought was pretty, certain.
I did think that this tour was going to offer something that hadn't been played since its release.
So an Alexander the Great, like a Alexander the Great, bring it back.
Or Caught Somewhere in Time. Or, for example, every history tour has had that moment where you go, they haven't played that since that record came out. That's the disappointment factor. And for me, if I can elaborate for a minute, the fact that most of the motif of the tour, the posters and the whole thing looked very No Prayer-ish, and in hindsight, perhaps it was just more Killers, but with the acts and all. But the fact that they couldn't even give you one song just to name check No Prayer, I thought it was way ambitious when people saying, we're going to get Be Quick or Be Dead, we're going to get From Here to Eternity, we're going to get Tail Gunner, we're going to get Bring Your Daughter, we're going to get Wasting Love. I didn't see that happening, but I thought we would have at least got Tail Gunner or Bring Your Daughter or both, just to kind of go, you know what, we haven't revisited that era, now's the time to do it.
I would agree. I thought Tail Gunner was going to be the opener. It's got the line "Trace your way back."
Yeah, me too.
Trace your way back 50 years. I mean, it's the 50th anniversary tour.
It's
but
right
a
there.
Spitfire does not have a tail gunner. That's the problem. Perrin, Perrin,
on our prediction
tell me what
yesterday.
you did not like in this set.
Well, look, I mentioned before, if there's anything I don't like, it's the kind of predictability once you get the last few songs of the set into the encores. You know, Trooper, Hallowed Be Thy Name, Iron Maiden, Aces High, Fear of the Dark, Wasted Years. There's definitely no surprise there. You know, I'm surprised. I think the opportunity to do something new and different, like Giles said, would have come with the Somewhere in Time track, because we just came off a tour where they did 5 songs from Somewhere in Time. So there's not that many left. And if you don't want to repeat a song like they did with Wasted Years that was just on the last tour, why not?
Madness, Deja Vu,
You know, Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner, Sea of Madness. Even if you want to bring back Deja Vu, which they haven't done, I don't think, since that tour.
They haven't done ever.
Yeah,
they've never done Deja Vu.
No, so I think there was an opportunity there to do something of Somewhere in Time. I'm surprised we only got, what did we get? 1 song from Peace of Mind? 1 or 2?
1, yeah.
The
so
Trooper.
You know, for something that is widely regarded as one of their top 3 albums, you know, by most people, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, we did very recently get Revelations and Where Eagles
and that's
Dare.
the problem, right? You did Revelations, they did Where Eagles Dare not too long ago as well.
Yeah, so that I mean, Still Life would have been quite welcome.
Yeah,
Okay,
but,
so
I
put up the list, and I just want to tell everybody, I put up the list. Everybody can see it. Wrathchild is missing. I forgot to put it in there, so I don't want to hear the comments. But go on, Perrin, sorry.
Now, a lot of people, and I mentioned this yesterday on our prediction show, were like going out there saying, oh, they're going to play Sun and Steel, and they're going to play Still Life, and they're going to do all these things. Because people were somehow reading into the marketing that this was like an early days tour or a rarities tour. And they never said that. All they ever really said was this was going to be an album tour celebrating the first 9 albums. I think fans then
But it wasn't even that, because they left one of the albums out.
Well,
isn't that crazy? That's nuts.
It's surprising. I think that, honestly, I think they would have rather just done the first 7 albums, but they needed an excuse to play Fear of the Dark.
But
they should have just...
Let me raise a point there. They don't need an excuse for it, because somewhere back in time... what is it? What was it called? Somewhere... What was
back
that
on
tour?
Time tour?
Yeah, somewhere back, and it was
somewhere back in time, back in 2008. That was meant to be the 80s era only, and they still played Fear of the Dark.
Yeah,
so they don't need, you know.
Yeah. So I guess they don't.
Perrin,
I don't know why they marketed it as the first 9 albums, but you know, I was saying yesterday.
It should have been marketed as the first 7 albums. That would have just done it, right?
Yeah.
And then just do Fear of the Dark. And just do Fear of the Dark because they have to.
Yeah.
You know?
No Prayer. I went on record yesterday and said it's my least favorite Iron Maiden album, and I didn't necessarily see a song in there that was like a great fit. I threw out if they were going to play one, it might bring your daughter to the slaughter.
It was their only #1 single. They've got you'd think that would be at least worth going. Hey, 50 years of Iron Maiden. What is if you look back on a 50-year career, do you really ignore your only #1 single? You know?
Yeah, no, that's it. So I thought Bring Your Daughter would have been. It's kind of a sing along. Bruce likes the song. It's a Bruce song. So. You know, I would have rather have heard that than Wasted Years, because we just heard so much of the Somewhere in Time album.
It would have been
a great way to close as well.
But where's Running Free? This was a top of the pops. You know, it cracked, what is it, the top 40 in the UK or whatever it was as a single at the time.
First single, yeah.
Their first single. This is what had the momentum of the first album was Running Free. That was the
That's a
song
really
that was
good. That's a
leading.
really good point. If you're going out there saying 50 years, you think you're going to put landmark songs, your first ever single, your first ever, only #1 single. I don't know, unless we're going to get a big surprise tomorrow night, but I doubt it. I think
Yeah.
this is the set from here to eternity.
Yeah, well, that's what Maiden has done for the longest time now. There has been no variation. And, tomorrow they're playing, a second night in the same city. So if ever...
Are they really?
Yeah.
Are they really?
They're doing 2 nights in Budapest. So if ever
Okay.
they switch something up, that would be a chance to do it.
Well, that's something I don't see it happening because they never really have, especially now the productions. But let's take a look at the production. I didn't really see much video. It seemed to be mostly just backdrops, not actual interactive stuff like the.
It usually
like
is. It usually is. Yeah.
No. They have mixed it up. This is video.
Amen. I got to
style.
see I got to see a little bit of the live footage somebody was streaming. I
Mhm.
know you got to watch. What were some of the highlights in regards to the imagery?
But what
on
I
stage
what I
production?
mean is does it lend itself to swapping songs up? Meaning projections and backdrops
Okay.
you can
Yeah.
change. Whereas a fully interactive, stage set that's more part of the set list, you can't change songs that easily. You know what I
Well,
mean?
Inaudible. Yeah.
The biggest change in this tour, Steve Harris has all been Mr. Curtain Man, and I only saw one curtain when I was watching it, which was for the Trooper. The rest was all animated screens that looked
Well, then
unbelievable.
that could be okay if they were to ever mix up the set list or alternate night to night. Screens do allow you that luxury, whereas something that's a little bit more built in doesn't.
Well, look, you know what Maiden's like. Maiden don't do Metallica. I think this is the set. They're not going to change it.
I bet you they've. I mean, again, if there was an argument for them potentially alternating, then the recent Metallica thing, nothing gets lost on Rod Smallwood and the boys. There's a great idea, but who knows? I doubt it. I doubt it, but who knows? Let's see.
There is over the pond.
Do it.
Don't they usually change it up 1 or 2 songs when they go from one side of the pond to the other side of the pond, from Europe to North America?
It's never
the
been.
Book of
It's
Souls.
never been consistent. Yeah, yes, in Book of Souls it did, but it's never been consistent. That's the exception.
Yeah. I think for Book of Souls, they might have changed 2 or 3 songs from Europe to North America. So
Well, they
the thing with
took out Hallowed because of the legal dispute.
Yeah, but so if they're going to do it, that's normally the time. But like Giles said, using more video than actual curtains, and having 2 nights in the same city, like you're going to know if they do the exact same set in Budapest tomorrow.
That's it. Yeah.
Then that's the set you're getting all tour. And
Yeah,
look, we can talk about Running Free and this song and that song. We're Maiden fans. We're always going to do this. Like I said to you yesterday, like the Maiden Chili leak had like 20 or 21 songs. That was never going to be the case. They'd never play a set with that many songs.
This is 18 songs, Perrin. This is 18 songs with Rime and the Ancient Mariner, which is 20. Really?
And I mentioned the Nico factor, right? I think by the last tour, Nico's limit was kind of like 15 songs, an hour and 40 minutes.
So let's go back to that Chili leak. Is there anything? Was there anything they played tonight that wasn't on that list?
Murders in the Rue Morgue.
Just in case that was a master list.
Rime of the Ancient Mariner.
That wasn't on the list.
Seventh Son. That was not on. These are the 3 that were not on the list.
That list had them opening with "Be Quick or Be Dead." I don't think that was ever
No, that was completely
what I mean is
fabricated.
Is if it was some sort of master list and they did some of it tonight and the rest of it tomorrow. But I'm not. I'm purely. I don't believe that will happen. I'm just playing devil's advocate, saying, well, okay, let's take that line of thinking and see if that's even a remote possibility.
I think something we need to remember, the 4 of us have all seen Maiden a lot of times, right?
Aye. Yeah.
If I take myself out of it and look at this set list versus the first set list I ever saw them play, which was the No Prayer for the Dying tour, about 3 weeks before the album come out. And so it was all these songs nobody had ever heard, versus what I see here. This is the dream set list right here. If you're going to your first ever Maiden show, this is what you want to see.
Very good point. What about Simon Dawson? For the people out there who actually were in Hungary or watched a live stream of some sort or saw some video footage, Eamon, what'd you think about Simon Dawson? I'm getting some comments here saying he wasn't that good, but it's hard to tell on a video stream.
I think he did fine. The poor bloke must have been nervous as all hell. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Giles, did you end up seeing a little bit of the footage live?
Yeah, I saw. I actually sat and watched. A Greek fan was presumably a Greek fan because he had a Greek name. He was dutifully streaming the show for the duration of the set, and I was very grateful to him for doing that. So.
Yeah, I think on the Simon question, the one I'm interested to hear him play is Phantom of the Opera, because Nico played it very differently to Clive Bird. Clive had a real swing going on. Now, that's not to criticize Nico, who we all respect. He just played it slightly differently. He played it kind of flatter. So I am interested to see and hear with my own ears, because I couldn't really tell by watching the stream, has it got that swing again? There was a song, and I can't remember which one, but I was like, wow, that has got a swing in it. I can't remember which track it was, but I'm kind of excited to see what Simon's bringing.
I think we got to give the bloke 2 or 3 or 4 shows to kind of
we do
really make a judgment.
All right,
guys,
yes or no? How about let's just go quick round robin here on the songs. Ides of March, we're not going to talk about it. Murders in the Rue Morgue. Did you like it, guys? Eamon? Yes.
Yeah, not the opener I wanted, but yeah.
Giles,
what do you mean? Did I like it? I wasn't there.
Were you happy that it was in the set list? Sorry.
Yes. I'm very happy that's in the set list. Yeah.
Perrin?
Never seen it live, I don't think.
Absolutely.
All right, Killers. Eamon?
Oh, you missed Wrathchild.
Wrathchild. I missed it on my list too. Wrathchild
I've seen live about 3,000 times.
Yeah, I would take anything off No Prayer in favor of that.
So would you take Wrathchild off? How's that? Yeah. That's a good question.
Take Wrathchild off, put Prowler on.
Okay. Giles, Wrathchild on or off?
Take Wrathchild off and put Be Quick or Be Dead on, just for something different. Not because I don't like Wrathchild.
Perrin, Wrathchild on or off?
On. It's one of my top 5 favorite Maiden songs.
I would keep it on. Killer. Oh, we did Killers? No. Killers, Eamon. On or off?
Oh, brilliant. My most exciting moment of the night so far.
Giles?
On.
Perrin?
Yeah, I've never heard it because I missed the 99 tour. So absolutely.
I would definitely have kept it on, and it is on. Phantom of the Opera.
On. Obviously, yeah.
Yeah. Giles?
Seen it before live, but for my own selfish reasons, I'd probably rather see something I haven't seen. But no, I love it. It's one of the best Maiden songs ever. So yes, on.
Yeah, Perrin.
If there's a song I might cry during, it's this one. So absolutely yes, I absolutely hallmark Iron Maiden song for me that hasn't been played enough over the years.
It's the first Iron Maiden song I ever played on stage with a band. So it's
cool.
And that's a tough choice.
I love Phantom.
I was 17.
Keep it on. The Number of the Beast, Eamon. On or off?
Look, well, it's off for me, right? But it was off the last tour, so they get a pass. They're allowed to bring it back.
Okay, yellow card. Giles, on or off?
We're purely talking about ourselves and what we want to see, right?
What we want to see,
not any general demographic and what.
No.
I would take it off. I've seen it hundreds of times. I'd much rather have Tail Gunner.
Okay, Perrin.
Retire it, please. I get it. I know the 13-year-old going to his first show needs to be there for him, but for me, retire it, please.
I would keep it on. The Clairvoyant. Eamon?
Yeah, brilliant song. Hasn't been played live since 2013, so it's got a place in the set, yeah.
Giles?
You're making me feel old. Make it sound like 2013 is a long time ago. I guess it is. I love the song. I absolutely adore it. So yes, let's keep that there.
It's refreshing to keep it on. Perrin?
Yeah, one of the highlights. I have great memories of that song. I was front row on the Seventh Sun tour. Who was their security guy? Was it Wally Grove? Was that his name? The guy who used to work for them? And I remember he was up in front of the barrier and he was high-fiving all of us when they played the Clairvoyant when I saw them in '88 with Guns N' Roses opening, incidentally. Great memories. Love Clairvoyant in the set.
Tiago is saying in the chat he would have liked to see Total Eclipse. Would any of you like to see Total Eclipse?
I thought
Gosh, I thought they released it as a single recently. I thought, yes, absolutely.
I had it in my predictions as well. So
It's a brilliant song.
I think we were reaching though. You know, it was wishful thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the stuff we would love to see, but it was a reach.
But
they've done reaches before. Doing 5 songs off Somewhere in Time was a freaking reach, and they did that. You know,
when you get old, when you reach, you can pull a muscle and stuff. So
all right, Powerslave, on or off, Eamon?
Oh, that's always on for me.
Wow.
Yes, totally.
Wow. Giles?
take it or leave it. I love it. I've seen it before. Again, in the spirit of the history tours, that I think should always bring something new to the table. I would have rather had something like Total Eclipse instead, but that's just me. So there we go.
Baron?
Probably my favorite Maiden solo is during Powerslave. I think it's just beautiful.
Dave Murray solo.
Yeah, it is a good solo, yes.
All right, I would have kept it on
for
too.
me, that makes it a definite yes.
Okay, 2 minutes to midnight. Amen.
Written by my favorite guitar player of all time, and for me, it's no. I've heard it too many times.
Okay, Giles.
Yeah, heard it and seen it too many times. Again, give me something like, I don't know, From Here to Eternity. That would have been a nice change, wouldn't it? And that was a pretty popular single too.
Perrin?
Yes, I just love that opening riff. It's just one of my favorite Maiden songs. And again, my first tour was Powerslave, and just the memories it evokes. So that's a definite yes for me.
You know what's funny? This guy in the chat, Ves Paraxet. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Boring, makes me vomit. I think you said a negative thing about every single song. Okay, Vax Paraxet. Tell me which songs you would have liked to see tonight or hear.
Realistically.
Rime of the Ancient Mariner. That's a big yes for me. I called that one. Just to tell Perrin I called that one. Oh,
yeah, you did.
Yeah, total showstopper. And from what I saw, the visuals on it just elevate it even greater than it was.
Okay. All right. Giles?
Yeah, I love it. It's really good. I do get a bit sick of that low-key part with the creaking ship and all that. It's a little long, but I love the song. It's really good. Even when I was a kid, I used to fast-forward the cassette through that.
Well, spoken word.
You would have enjoyed it tonight because there was technical difficulties and that guitar part wasn't coming through.
All right. I'd rather have Sign of the Cross, but no, I love it. It's great.
Perrin?
Yes. I haven't heard it in a bit. I would have rather had 2 shorter songs in its place, but I'm fine with it being in the set.
Yeah.
No, I'm happy. Run to the Hills.
Why not?
Run to the Hills.
Well, they can't not do it because the tour's named after it, but I'd be fine if it wasn't in the set.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Giles?
They don't play it live properly. I mean, they always rush it and choke the life out of it. Listen to the studio version, listen to any live version they've ever done. No, but it's really good. I mean, it'd be tough to celebrate 50 years of Maiden and not play it, really. But again,
you were saying about the big singles, and that was their first top 10. So yeah,
that was But then again, I guess it's more essential than Bring Your Daughter. I mean, it's more essential than Running Free. But those two have a place in a 50-year history set as well. But no, why not? Run to the Hills, why not?
I mean, Run to the Hills was not only a big song for them, but it broke down the barriers.
But we're just talking about what we want to hear, though, right? Aren't we?
I want to hear that too. Yeah, but I do want to hear it. I want to hear Run to the Hills. I want to hear Run to the Hills every time they come play in Montreal. Perrin?
No, I get it. Again, like Eamon said, it's the name of the tour. You knew they were going to play it. I'd rather.
No, but do you want to hear it? Do you want to hear it?
No, I've heard it enough times already in my life.
Oh, I love it. It always sounds great. Okay. Somebody said, a lot of people, this guy named Owls is saying it's a nightmare. I have to say this about my favorite band. The set list sucks. Stage show sucks. Maiden, what the F have you done? I am speechless.
Not a fan then.
I mean, you can't knock. Let's just forget about what the tour's meant to be, could have been, should have been, would have been, what we all thought it was going to be. Nothing really new was brought to the table that they haven't played this side of the millennium, except for Killers. Forget all that. You can't argue with this set list that strong. It's not gonna suck. If you think the set list sucks, you probably think most of their albums suck as well.
Yeah, but Giles, those are the people who are saying, "Yeah, they're gonna play Back in the Village. They're gonna play Sun and Steel." Like that was never gonna happen. So if your expectation was a set list of rarities, like I guess
I want to hear "Look for the Truth" and "Judgment of Heaven," but they're never gonna play it.
Yeah.
The wiki, the Chili Leak said that they were going to play "To Tame a Land." That would have been cool. That would have been a nice song to hear.
Like I said, not awesome. Enough from Peace of Mind for me, so that would have been cool.
Yeah, that would have been so good. Yeah.
Amen. Seventh son of a seventh son of a seventh son.
I love it when I just want to hear you name the song all the time, Jim. Yeah, the 7th, 14th son of the 18th son. That album was the first album that I got when it came out.
Right.
I love that album. That song is an absolute milestone. The biggest surprise of the night for me. And oh yeah, when that comes to Dublin in a few weeks' time, I'm gonna be losing it to that song.
Giles, Seventh Son of the Seventh Son.
Yes. Very good. Very good.
And a good point, Perrin said we need that chanting song. So he did say Seventh Son. Maybe they might put that in there yesterday, right?
Yeah, very good. Very good song.
Perrin?
It's a yes, but with an asterisk. I would rather have heard Infinite Dreams, like Heeman mentioned. I would rather have maybe heard Moonchild. I would rather have heard The Evil That Men Do, even though they played it a few times here and there over the years. So it's. I'm glad it's there, but I could probably have picked it up.
Personally, I would have not put Seventh Son, but that's just me. The Trooper, Eamon. The Trooper. Are they going to play the Trooper? Do you want to hear the Trooper?
I was so surprised to see the Trooper in the set.
Almost as surprised as Fear of the Dark being in the set, right?
Oh my God. I was watching the set list and I was going, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do Fear of the Dark. Yes.
Do it.
And then I spoke too soon. The Trooper. Look, again, if you're going to see your first Maiden show, you want the Trooper. The same way as you want the two, AC/DC, you want You Shook Me All Night Long, whatever. I've heard the Trooper too many times. I can leave without it, but I get why it's there. It has to be in the set.
Giles, Trooper.
Have they ever actually not played it since it came out?
Yes, once in Dublin because of the flag waving controversy. That's the only time it hasn't been played.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
Yeah, to me, it's a boring song. I would just scratch it right off. It was a great song when it was first released. The studio version is the best version, but just too many.
Are we ever going to get Angel and the Gambler, though?
I would love to have that.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Next week. Yeah, next week.
Yeah, next week.
Perrin, the Trooper. The Trooper.
Yeah,
the
this
Trooper
is in
beer.
the same boat as Number of the Beast and Run to the Hills. All these songs
Yeah.
are the same answer
Yeah.
for me. I've seen them, I think, 19 or 20 times.
It's the pain of being a diehard fan and having seen them loads of times. That's
Yeah.
just the thing,
Hallowed be thy name. They brought it back into the set. Amen.
Yeah,
Yay or nay?
Wasn't it always in there?
No, they didn't play it last tour.
No,
If they didn't hear.
they dropped it on with that whole legal thing. But yeah,
Then they brought it back since then, though, didn't they?
they did. Yeah,
Perrin, did
Yeah,
the last two shows that they played? I don't think they did. The last two tours we saw.
They dropped it on one of the tours. I can't remember if it was the last one or the one before, but it was dropped from one of the tours. So
Yeah, but I think they put it in. Wasn't it on the last tour?
I don't
hang
remember.
on. I'm gonna look.
Somebody please check.
Yeah, I'll look now.
Charles, yes or no? Would you keep it on the set list or would you?
Oh, I really like it, but again, if I have the opportunity to go, someone says, right, Giles, something you've seen before 10, 12, 15 times or something you've never seen, I'm always going to pick something I've never seen. Because I don't know,
They didn't play it on the last
yeah,
tour.
it wasn't on the Future Past tour.
But I think
Wait
it
a
was on the Legacy of the Beast tour,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, it would have been. So last tour wasn't on.
Yeah.
Perrin,
So it's worth bringing
hallowed
back.
be thy name.
Yeah, so this is the one exception to my rule of not wanting these standards. I think this is one of their masterpieces. If I can make an exception for one song that's been played almost every tour, it's this one. I think this is a centerpiece of a lot of Maiden shows. So I'll take this.
I'd get rid of it. All right. Sorry,
If I was just going to say, like, if I put myself back to when I first saw Live After Death when I was 11 years old, and I was watching the performance of Hallowed Be Thy Name, and that it was shivers down the spine. So for that reason, I would take it. But I'm with you guys. I've heard it too many times.
Okay, so the song Iron Maiden, I think this is the song that they have yet to never play. They've always played the song Iron Maiden.
Yeah, you can't have a Maiden concert without it. So I'm totally yes.
I would keep it because it's just what it is. Giles?
What?
Iron Maiden, the song. Would you keep it?
Oh, yeah, it doesn't do a lot for me live. I mean, I like the song quite a lot actually, but it's never been like a point of the live show that I've really got that excited. This is the point where Bring Your Daughter would have been like a really nice surprise.
Okay.
And if I'd heard Bring Your Daughter every set since No Prayer After Dying, I'd probably be saying get rid of that as well.
Yeah. You say bring back Iron Maiden.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Perrin, Iron Maiden?
I'll say yes, just because it's the band's signature title song. But I mean, I could take it or leave it, but I'll take it. Fine.
All right. Ace is high. Amen.
Right. So, like, as I said, I saw Maiden on the No Prayer for the Dying tour. Then I saw them every tour up through, X Factor, Virtual 11. I would have killed to see Aces High. I would have killed to see it. And now I've seen it a few times, so I'm a little more, nonchalant about it. But if I take myself back out of it, it's like that is one of the greatest, the finest Iron Maiden songs, the finest, the excitement with that whole "We Shall Go On to the End" and everything. So when I take a step back, and I go, oh, they're not doing. I thought "To Tame a Land" might have been the encore because they did "Hell on Earth," the low key thing on the last tour.
Yeah.
If I take a step back from that and go, hang on, they're doing Aces High. Yeah.
At least you're lucky you got to see Lightning. You got to see Lightning Strikes twice live.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
that's really cool. That's really cool.
So Giles, Aces High.
That's one of my favorite Iron Maiden songs.
Actually, Giles, I did see him sing Aces High at NAMM, right? At Neil Turbin's show there. You sang it pretty well.
Yeah.
You did it well. You did it really pretty well.
Oh, thank you.
So would you keep it
I'll
or
do
not?
Infinite Dreams next time.
Bring your daughter to the slaughter.
The last few tours have done Aces High, haven't they? Like they did it on the Legacy.
Yes.
They did it on.
Yes.
They did it.
Again, it seems a little bit repetitive at this point. I think maybe, again, this would have been the time to put something like "To Tame a Land" in there.
Okay, Perrin?
Or still live.
For the reason that Giles just said, they opened with it on the Book of Souls tour. One of the tours they opened with it, and then on another tour, or maybe it was the first leg of Legacy of the Beast, and then at one point they were closing the night with it.
They sort of flipped it over, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They surprised everybody and just did it later in the set. But I feel like it's been played on 2 of the last 4 tours, and look, I have a soft spot for it. My first tour was the World Slavery Tour. It was the first song I ever saw Iron Maiden play live. But because they've played it on a couple of more recent tours, I didn't think it needed to be there.
I'm kind of like this. Like, on paper, I don't want to see it. But if I was at a show and they were playing it, I get excited.
Well, I'm not going to have a shit time just because they played Aces High.
I'm really happy that they're playing it. But
again,
on paper, if they were saying, please arrange my set list.
You're not going to say it's a terrible set list.
Don't take it off.
It would have been great to have Judgment of Heaven in there. Yes.
Or Lightning Strikes.
I love Lightning Strikes Twice. That's such a cool song.
I think they need to redo it. They just need to redo it. But
when Two Worlds Collide. When Two Worlds Collide.
Collide's a great song.
Yeah.
Fear of the Dark. Does anybody want Fear of the Dark?
No.
No. I'm disappointed Fear of the Dark isn't earlier in the set because it's always my go for a pee, go for a beer song.
Go buy a t-shirt song.
So for that reason,
you know what I get sick of? I get sick of that drony whoa that everyone does. It's just like, oh no, it's really becoming a bit of a joke. The fact that it's like they'll take out Run to the Hills before they'll take out Fear of the Dark.
They have, yeah.
They have.
I know.
I want to know who Fear of the Dark has pictures of. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, exactly. Or is it just to make Yannick feel like to give something for that he was in, but that's unkind. But I mean, when you could have something like the educated fool.
You know what? Just get
that's
rested for one
definitely
tour. If Hallowed by Name can be rested for one tour, if Run to the Hills can be rested for one tour, if Number of the Beast can be rested for one tour, for God's sake, Fear of the Dark could be put aside for one tour.
You know what's amazing about Fear of the Dark? When it first was released, it never, at least in North America, I can't speak for the rest of the world, but it didn't. It was not even on the radar.
Yeah,
it just has become this concert song. That's it. They turned it.
They
just by playing it every night.
If they're gonna skip songs from No Prayer, which is not as advertised, they could have added songs from X Factor and Virtual 11. If they're gonna do the 90s, they could have done Future Real.
Yeah, Future Real's great. Okay, and we have Wasted Years as the last song. Eamon,
that's a real lazy way to end a set.
Yeah, like again, it's one of my written by my favorite guitar player. Adrian Smith wrote that song. It's a melodic masterpiece. Disappointing, it's the exact same show ender as the prior tour.
I know.
So I have to remove myself from it to go, actually, that's class. But I would have thought Running Free or Sanctuary would have ended this tour. But
Sanctuary would have been great. That's a good call.
Yeah,
I think I
would have removed it.
Yeah, I think a tour with this theme should have ended on on an old song. It should have,
like a full circle kind of thing. Yeah,
they should have bookended it, right? They should have, because they opened with early stuff. They should have ended with early stuff. I thought.
Toss in a woman in uniform. I don't know. They had never. When's the last time they played that song?
I would lose if they played Woman in Uniform. I'd be so surprised. That'd be so cool.
They hit it. Steve Harris hits it.
It's amazing because I'm sure you've talked to Stefan too, Giles. He was sort of getting emails going back and forth with the Maiden camp to get Paul to sing, I guess, on a song or two on this tour since they're going
so he
back.
says. Who the hell really knows?
So he says, but you never know. You just never know. Would have been cool.
I mean, I don't think Steve hates Women in Uniform. I just don't think he thinks it represents Iron Maiden really in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. They never put it on the album, so I guess that says a lot, right?
They did in Australia because the Skyhawks was such a big band there. They put it on the Killers. They put it on the Killers.
Yeah, we didn't have that here. No, sir. Mm-hmm. Guys, I think that's it. Any last comments that you want to say about
my phone's about to die. I'm on 5%.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah. So I haven't seen any footage yet because I just got home right before this. So I'm hearing from a friend that Simon Dawson, like Nico, wasn't kind of hidden behind like a wall of drums, and so was that Simon was more visible.
He played like a very small kit. Yeah.
No, but beyond the small kit, like how Nico for years has been
drums were low,
kind of in that wall.
He was. You could see him from the chest up. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good because that always bothered me. I always
and they did introduce him too, Perry.
By the stage, I would have to get a section further back. Yeah. If I wanted to see Nico, so
I was taking pictures at Iron Maiden. I couldn't get one shot of Nico because he was just completely surrounded. You just can't get a shot in there. But yeah, I'd like to.
And I think that's the big thing for the next couple days. I think what's going to come next here is as the YouTube footage comes out, everyone's going to be dissecting Simon Dawson for better or worse. You got to
give a bloke. You got to give a bloke five. You got to give a bloke half a dozen shows.
They're going to dissect the size of his kit, how he played this, how he held his sticks. You have the same drummer for 42 years, 43 years. I mean, I agree. Give the guy a break. But I think what we're going to see is an analysis of the YouTube footage for the next few days, and Simon's going to become a focal point, less so than the set list.
Funny enough, you've seen him with British Lion, Giles. I've seen him with British Lion
many times.
And I mean, it's not the same type of music, so it's hard to tell. But I didn't know it was him.
But songs like Bible Black and things like that are very maideny. So yeah, I think he did very, very well, considering it's his first gig. He must have been absolutely shitting himself.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that if I go on YouTube, within the first 10 comments of any YouTube thread, there's going to be somebody saying they should have picked Joe Lazarus or they should have picked.
Oh, there'll be some guy from some Eastern European country going, So here we give the report of the first show of Simon Dawson. What are people saying? To try and get advert revenue because he's making money. Basically, all those like historical YouTube things that steal footage from other people's things. Those people.
Yes, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
This Simon Dawson he's like a commander.
It's him. He's doing it.
I think
right,
he did
guys.
great. I have full respect for Simon. What a set of balls he must have had tonight. You know what I mean?
And a correction. I said yesterday he was in his 50s. Is he in his 60s?
No, he's not. This is the big thing. There's another drummer called Simon Dawson that when you Google, that brings him up. This bloke was actually in a thrash metal band in the 90s. He was in the outfield. He's a lot younger than his gray hair would lead you to believe.
Yeah.
He's not as old as the rest of them.
I thought he was in his mid 50s, but then somebody says, "No, you're wrong, man. He's 67." I go, 67? Why would they hire a 67-year-old?
No, he's in his I think mid to late 50s. I mean, he was in Dearly Beheaded in the 90s, and that was
So AI says Simon Dawson's age is 61 years old. He was born June 2nd, 1963. He is the new drummer for Iron Maiden. Now, that's AI. AI could just be taking Simon Dawson and
But
Iron Maiden
61 sounds a lot more realistic than like 67, which is what like everyone was saying last year.
67, yeah. 67 sounds a lot more older. And there's a big difference between 61 and 67.
Yeah.
Physically. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, another Iron Maiden opening night.
All right, guys.
Let's see if there's any surprises tomorrow. That could be interesting. Who knows?
Might be another show. Who knows?
And the tour, the set list they published says 2025, 2026. So that is, we kind of knew, but that is confirmation that North America will come in 2026.
Thanks, everybody, for watching.
All righty.
Guys, have yourself a great night.
Thanks, boys.